Okay, today I want to give a plug to my buddy Tony Demeo and his new book, The Evolution of Option Football. Okay, and there's Tony, fellow Italian fellow. And if you want to, if you want to learn football, if you're, if you're not really a football expert, to me, it's like the option football taught me more than anything. Not that I'm a football expert, but the most I learned was actually learning how to defend the option. Okay. Well, anyway, that's Tony's thing, and it got me thinking about my own option journey, and I decided I'd do something. I'm going to do it in two parts. Okay. Option football, of course, 11 on 11. The quarterback becomes more than just an observer of the game. He's involved in the run game, either as a guy to eliminate a defender or actually carrying the ball himself. Okay, and I learned from some good people. We went to Western Connecticut way back in '84, I believe it was, and Paul Pasqualoni and Steve Adazio and a guy named Tom Demeo, who actually came to work for us and was pretty much, even though I had the title, he was pretty much the coordinator. And we went to Army, learned from Charlie Taffy and Greg Gregory. And funny thing is, the Jerry DiNardo and Les Miles were there that weekend that we went, or that week that we went. Went down to Auburn when Bo Jackson was Bo Jackson, and Pat Dye was the head coach. And Bo didn't want to block, so they put him in the eye, and they figured out a way to run the triple option. Went to Air Force. I don't know if he didn't want to block, but I wouldn't have Bo Jackson block him for anybody. Okay. Went to Air Force with Fisher DeBerry and Bob Novelet, and that's where we learned how to vary the line splits. Okay, they were running the split bone, but everybody thought it was because they broke the formation. But really, the split bone, according to what Bob told me, was varying the line splits. Up at Army, they never varied the guard line splits. They did the tackles, but not the guards. But Bob varied the guard. If the guard was covered and he didn't have to combo with the center, they'd move him over. Okay, went to when Ken Hatfield was the head coach at Arkansas. Went to Ark State with Larry Lacewell, the head coach, and that's where we really learned about the automatic outside double option. Went to Georgia Southern with Irk Russell, and I can't remember his staff, but they were all great option guys. And I had my saddle shoes on that day, and so did Irk, and he was pretty impressed with me. Was a roommate with Tony at UMass, and something I learned when I was a guest coach at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with Doug Berry and Bob Wiley, the concept of leaving one or leaving two for the quarterback, leaving one for the quarterback to read or pitch off of, leaving two for the quarterback to read and pitch off of. Okay, so their blocking scheme was always from the outside in. Okay, when we learned to count the perimeter, and that controlled the path of this back, okay, the lead blocker. When we learned to count from the read key out 1, 2, 3. We called that a 3-man perimeter, and the back had to either eliminate this guy so that the quarterback could read and pitch, or he had to eliminate this guy so the quarterback could read and pitch. Okay, and then we learned that if there was only a 2-man perimeter, 1, 2, that the tackle could veer no matter what, and the halfback could seal. So what happened here on this, what Steve Adazio called ollie, a loop scheme, the tackle would release outside and block for the quarterback. The guard would, of course, be blocking for the fullback. He'd be blocking for the pitch. Down here, if it was just read and pitch, he could add himself and block for the quarterback on the linebacker, and he would veer block, and no matter what the front was. Okay, it's hard to loop when the guard was covered, but here he could veer block no matter what. And of the two systems, I would recommend counting from the outside in. In other words, you know who's involved in the run support, so it would be 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you only had 1, 2, you could seal. And I think that counting from the outside in was a better way to do it. But anyway, I'm going to shut this one off, and I'm going to go to part 2. And